Okay, this is my GPE 205 Project Milestone 1 review. Just super quick, I'm going to run down the list because it is almost on the deadline, 9:57. So here we go. So let's go. I'm going to do everything in Unity. I haven't actually exported it and then built the project just because I know we're going to be working on it and I don't want to just continuously rebuild it. First things first, let's just go right over here. I have been working on this bad boy night and day for basically the past 3 days. Here are all my pushes, all the organization with them from back to forth, tons of different ones, couple quick saves. Most recent one was a bunch of comments and stuff on code. So let's go here. I'm going to click play. And then we're going to continue and run down the list. And then I will also go over here to console. We'll clear that so we can just see what's going on. Alright, so first thing, tank exists. So click play. Bam, it's going. All the things are up. I have a canvas up here trying to flash out what I know for the things that I don't know. Hopefully it will balance out the grade. um, so 1, 2, 3 enemies. They are stationary right now. Their turrets move though, just for funds. Right here is the player. What is next? So player input in player controls. So player input right here, and then if you look down in the console, forward, F, reverse, right, left. I can do both. If you notice here, the tank actually moves slower backwards than it does forwards. Not by much, but I figured it'd be cool. Next up, move in separate tank mover or pawn. And so that's where we're going to just quickly come over here into the player green body, and I have a motor. So this is its own component. It's inside of the green body of the tank. So specifically this part of the game object. Tried to make everything as logical as possible. So the chassis has the motor. Bam. The chassis is where you hit the collider. Bam. The rigid body. Bam. The health manager, because that's where the body takes hits and all that stuff. So I tried to make that as logical as possible. Moves, transforms, rotate. Once again, here you go. You got your rotate, and then you also have the rotate with the turrets. So a lot of rotating going on. That was a nightmare for me. In the AI one, I'll go over some other nightmares that I found later on in the next week to come. Tank variables are exposed for designers and separate tank data components. Oh, there are so many components in here. So I have the firing mechanism where you can change rate of fire, the fire point, so that way when I have bullets, they come from the tip of the barrel. As you can see, the rate of fire for the enemies is different compared to the rate of fire for the players. I designed it. Bullets can also collide with each other. Bullets are actually prefab, so if we go back here, we'll just check them out. The enemies are prefabs. I made a prefab player just in case I needed him for later on, and then we have prefab for player bullets, prefab for enemy bullets. A lot of layer and tag playing with here, which I think may have screwed me in the end, but we'll figure it out. I'll go back to console just so that we can do it. Clear it. Oh, clear it so that we can see things again. What else? So, oh yeah, and then tank data. If you're looking for back again in the body, we have the motor. You can change the forward speed, the counterclockwise, all of these things, the reverse speed. I set in some defaults just because I had played with it and wanted it to be presentable. But there are tons of things in here that you can do. Health, the max health, the damage of the bullet health, ramming into another person's health, kind of or damage. The score, you can rig your score if you want. A lot of public variables. Ooh, I apologize. So yes, there are definitely separate tank data components. Again, I know this said it wanted one, so what I did is I have the player main class, and then I put the components in spots that made sense to me as a designer. In the end, what I would like to do is have it all in player, and then reference to the other classes of the components. I just didn't know how to do that in the effective amount of time, but I'm sure it'll happen by the end of the class. All right. Shooter component fires shell in the direction tank, cannon, or tank is facing. Yep, there you go. It's for all of them. I hit myself somewhere. Uh, and so I have lives counting up instead of lives counting down, as you can tell, every time I get hit. And that's just, I can rework that later, but let's just restart it because I'm dead. But it counts for you, so we'll keep that in mind. But yeah, the bullets shoot from wherever the cannon is. So shooter component limited in fire rate usage. Once again, showed that right here. Shells collide with other tanks, do damage to other tanks, and track which shooter fired the shell. That is correct. Bam, it does it. So if they're beefy. I think they have like 5 lives. Yeah. So it's keeping track with each one every time I shoot. Bam, there you go. Again, I know all this is controlled by me. I hit space, and yes, I shoot everybody. I haven't gotten to the AI components of it yet, so forgive me on that one. What is... Oh, I don't want that one. There it is. So yes, I would say that shells collide with other tanks, do damage, and they're tracked because it tracks the damage from the main character and is separately for each tank. Shells destruct after time. They do, and the only way that I can show you this is if we look over here. So we're going to look at the scene hierarchy, and then I will shoot. There will be a bunch of bullets from all the tanks made from enemy to player, and then just watch them disappear because I have them self-destruct. So we're going to just all shoot over here. Bam, 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 bam. And then I set them for a relatively long time. Just wanted them to get off the screen, but you see they're all disappeared. So we make them again. And timeout. Then they disappear. Yay me. Alright, so going back to our handy dandy sheet. They also self-destruct as well with tanks. So I actually have it purposely done so that this is where the layers were coming in. I didn't want the bullets of the enemies to interact with the bullets of the enemies. I didn't want the bullet of, for whatever weird reason, of this guy to interact with its chassis if it shot over its chassis at any point in time. So the green bullets will not interact with the green tank other than shooting, and the orange bullets will not interact with the enemies or the orange bullets. See if we shoot the orange bullets at each other. They won't interact with each other as well. They'll continue to go. Back to this. Game manager. So if we look over here, this is... Oh shoot, I'm so sorry, it's so late and I don't talk too much. This is by far my weakest point is the game manager. I know what it's supposed to be, but once again, because of my trouble referencing to other classes and other game objects that are not children of a parent, like you see all here, all these green elements, the spawn point, the turret, the green body are all children of player. Same for enemy, enemy 1, enemy 2, and then you see here canvas. So I know how to reference to the parents and children classes within, but I don't know how to take a child of enemy 1 and reference it to player, or a child of enemy 2, or something like that. I know how to reference back up, not across. So up and down, not across. So game manager is where I would officially like to have all of my health management tools, all of my game trackers, the canvas reference tools and texts inside there and all that goodness. But for now, my game manager, it just holds all the components of my game. It holds the background, which is the dirt that you see right here, which has got background, tile grid, tile map, dirt. So I kind of know how to do that. So hopefully that can get me some more kudos. But if we close that back up, um, it's got all the working pieces of the actual, minus the camera. I like to keep the camera separate because it's its own beast. But other than that, if you close it, that's basically my game manager holds all the elements of my game inside of it, and it closes it up. It to me, it's encoding. It's my main class or my dot main method function, and then I would love to reference out stuff to it. I'm really good at it in Java, not great at C Sharp. C plus is also kind of for me. Python, I get it. It's just a language barrier that I have to overcome, and I need better resources. Um, I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I need to physically do it, and then tinker with it, see what happens every time something goes wrong, goes right, and then eventually it clicks for me. So it's a very long learning process for me online because I have to basically build, destroy, rebuild, destroy until I get the desired effect, and then it cements it in every time I practice. Um, Bugs, error free. Um, I don't think there's anything crazy bug wise here. The only thing that I would say is a bug is, I would like to not have all the turrets focus on my mouse. It makes for interesting gameplay. I'll give you that because you can. My challenge was all right. So the enemies will just crap out a bunch of bullets, but I would like the turrets to effectively aim at the tank and have their own kind of personality, so that they can be a fast shooter, slow shooter, heavy shooter. Stuff like that. Comments. This is perfect. I have my Visual Studios up. I have one up. It's my motor. It's my biggest component. All of them follow the same rules here. They tell you what the component is. The libraries that we have there, a brief, short description of what the entire code does, and then I go in almost line by line. I do actually do line by line and comment what it is, and then I do a start and an end for the methods that people aren't lost. Very rarely will I put in like an extra something something to just briefly re-explain it as if somebody didn't know, but they follow all this algorithmic style of my commenting, so we'll get rid of that. Project organization, again, this is all my organization here. You can see all of the things that I have done. I am very organized, even inside of the project manager down here with all the assets. I don't have a lot of things. I have prefabs with just prefabs. If I were to have more, they would be broken up. Scenes, I have the one scene. I should probably rename it instead of sample scene. Script, I should let you know that in here are all the scripts down to what they do. Again, I tried to make sense with the components and stuff to the game objects. And then sprites, very basic. I have a background, I have tanks, and then we have enemies, players, trying to. I need organization or else I get a little cray cray. What else do we got in here? Um, Game exceeds minimum requirements. The only thing that I would say that it definitely does exceed in minimum requirements is the fact that it does have the Canvas UI with the display on it. We were supposed to just keep track of it, but it didn't really say display it. I would say also having all the turrets kind of move. That's also kind of cool. And then I would just say I didn't know if this counted, but having the split reverse and forward value different so that you can program each one. But other than that, I wouldn't, and maybe the tile map thing. But other than that, I would say it's probably pretty on par. Um, the biggest thing I said that I have a problem with is the game manager concept. But other than that, that is what I got. I hit all the things on here. I'll do the timestamps. This has already gone 14 minutes. I apologize. Thank you and have a good night.